Big question we get is, what can we do about our nutrition when it comes to stress? So I'm going to talk to you about food in general relative to stress. How do we keep food from adding to our stress? We sort of think that food is a de-stressor. We kind of eat our feelings. When we feel bad, we eat, we get that sugar high, we get that sugar rush. But as a secondary effect of that, down below the surface, we're not doing our nervous system, our inflammatory system, our cortisol system any favors when we eat like that. A couple of strategies we'll go through. Number one, you gotta stay hydrated. You gotta have enough water in you. If we're not hydrated, we're not excreting fluids, we're not excreting toxins. Toxins lead to inflammation. It stimulates cortisol. Cortisol is a stress response hormone that stops our pleasurable functions happening, okay? So when we have high cortisol, blood is distributed, taken away from things like our digestive system, reproductive system, endocrine system, things that we need to use when we're relaxed. When we're in fight or flight response, we need our brain, we need our periphery, we need to fight, flee, run. If you're stressed, you can have a serious effect on your reproductive system. When we have gluten, processed foods, or pro-inflammatory foods, another thing happens to our gut lining. In our intestines, the internal kind of structures is your microvilli. This is where the food particles get broken down, transferred from the digestive system into the bloodstream. The bloodstream recognizes what it is. It's a carb, it's a protein, it's an amino acid, takes it to where it needs to go. And we have massive inflammation, pro-inflammatory foods like gluten, processed foods, alcohol, that damages the microvilli, which means larger compounds of food break through into the bloodstream. So instead of the food getting broken down into its single form, larger unbroken compounds seep through the microvilli wall into the bloodstream. The bloodstream doesn't know what it is. It doesn't recognize it. It thinks it's a foreign invader. It thinks it's an infection. It thinks it's a poison. It increases your autoimmune response to fight the infection. Now we get a mass release of cortisol, inflammation. We have no infection, but a heightened autoimmune response. But we also have a reduction in your ability to get sugar out of the blood into the muscle. Insulin gets blocked by cortisol. So we get more sugars, more carbs staying in the bloodstream. When that gets too high, we have a massive problem. So our body takes that out and it stores it somewhere else. Instead of storing it in the muscle, it stores it as fat. So we have this whole ecosystem where that inflammation from gluten and processed food causes cortisol release, body fat storage, blocking of insulin. It's not good for us. That then is going to drive our stress levels even more, make us way more sensitive to things like arthritis and other metabolic conditions. If you have any issues with this, look into the gluten-free diet, reduce your processed foods, stop drinking alcohol, get a load of sleep, and drink a load of water.